Okay, Tuesday morning in the kingdom, and it's chilly willy out here, so I got the me phone in the hoe shack where it's nice and warm. Yes, a happy hoe is a good hoe. Yes, this morning we woke up to minus 20 Celsius, but feels like minus 23. It is chilly. I felt it in the house this morning as I laid in bed looking at the alarm clock, waiting for it to go off. Yes, and then on the yo-yo scale, minus 4 Fahrenheit, but feels like minus 9. Ooh, that's not cold at all. All right. So today, our inspiration will be titty-o, vodka, handmade. I wonder how they hand make it. Boil the potatoes, get the mash, and then let her rip. All right. So it's titty day today. Tittos. Yes. So that'll be the inspiration today. Jack Daniels helped us build the wood stove yesterday, which turned out very well, and we thank the Kingdom followers that sent us the kit. Yes, it was good. Felt good to be assembling those. Remember the good old days when we did lots of those for the Americans that came up here fishing and had houses and cabins. But those days are long gone because nobody can afford to come to the end of the world, even if it is the best fish around. Also, too, I'm wearing my new scarf. I have no idea what color it is. All right, now I feel like the Red Baron on my doghouse, the Sopworth camel. Yes, and I'm chasing the Red Baron. That was a good cartoon when I was growing up. Yes, it was excellent. All right, we got the sun over there coming up. I think it's in nice colors. I don't know, a little dippy-doo. I got to keep the me phone warm. It's so sensitive. It's like a woman. All right. So today the staff is going to take the wood stove home to her house. We have some loose ends to do for it. And we should be able to, get it installed. Yes, we have to cut the pipes, cut the plates, cut everything. But we're in good shape. Yes. And today is Boxing Day. Yes, so that's where you box up all the presents that doesn't fit and everything so you can return it and get the money to cash it in and buy beer. Good thinking, eh? All right. I don't think Boxing Day is that popular anymore because now you have to have the receipt and all that crap to return anything. And there'll be 101 excuses on why you're returning it. Just like warranty on anything you buy for the automotive, the cats, or anything. Yes. Or it's just like these me phone adapter cords we bought too, and they're junk. It records me in mono. It only took me, 2 weeks to figure it out. All right, half my grief and problems. Like when I said I do, well, I better go. Here comes the boss.
What's up, Kingdom followers? Sir Rodney live from his house, not at work today. Going back to work tomorrow. Oh, look at. Couldn't even get all fixed up for you guys. Little trivia here. I want to see how many know what this little puppy is right here. The Hunky Bill. I'm going to town. I was bored today. Made some pierogies. There's a few dozen there. A whole bunch more there. But let's see. Anybody got one of those? Hope you all had a great Christmas. Happy holidays. Everything's kind of back to normal tomorrow. So we'll see you all on the YouTube.
Okay, we're off to a terrible start this morning. The intro this morning, it's not the Red Baron, it's Snoopy. Yeah, it's Charlie Brown Snoopy, the dog that sat on the beagle that sat on the doghouse. And I'm blaming Tits Vodka. Okay, in the English language, there's lots of silent letters, so we'll say the O is silent, and it's from Austin, Texas. So look at that. We're drinking some good stuff from them cowboys or those ranchers down there. So we'll just call it Tits Vodka. All right. So Tits Vodka is making me have lots of problems this morning. I didn't record dragging the big sheet of tin in, I guess you call it. It's the lockers from the mine, okay? Because everything had lockers and everything for locking stuff up or shelves. We saved this stuff. There's lots of holes in it, but that's okay. So the staff gave me a little blueprint. It's not kind of correct, okay? Just like everything else. So I just went freehand, freestyle, everything like that. So in theory, that's what we use to make the wood stove chimney or whatever. It should fit in this hole. And I clamped it together. That way I cut two pieces as one, okay? So if I cut the first piece wrong, I've cut the second piece wrong. So I don't have to really measure it out. I've done it once wrong. All right, so the staff also pointed out, look at that. Okay, oh, wrong piece. All right, so we have some pipe here. It'll go through here because we have to get the water hose, the garden hose, through the wall so we can fill the water tank for the kingdom. All right, so that was we did. We pre-cut the hole, so hopefully when we cut that, I think that's yellow. That's safety railing, okay? Because I'm colorblind. All right, so once the staff gives me the measurement, we can cut that. She'll slide it in here when it's on the wall. They're gonna fill this up full of sand, okay? So that'll keep the heat from the chimney pipe going up into her house or whatever. Because we have no insurance here in WHO-ville because we live at the end of the world. Plus, even if you pay for insurance, it means nothing. Okay, so as soon as you do a claim, they'll turn around, find a legal loophole in your insurance policy and refuse to pay out. And then they'll increase your premiums. Yeah, it's been there, done it. So insurance means nothing. It's a form of blackmail, like when you say I do. Okay, lunchtime in the kingdom. Seeing how these were locker panels or whatever, they have all these holes in the side here. So I just put some tape on the outsides of them because the staff will be installing this. So that's the inside her house, and then the pipe will go through, and that'll be the piece on the outside. So the tape will hold the sand from coming through those holes. I'm now baking the tape on using the wood stove because it's nice and warm. Can you feel that, Les Nesbitt? All right, so that's working out good. So once I get all these pieces cut for the staff, I can work on Kijiji. All right, so this morning with the dogs and their exercise, well, I got the exercise because I dragged the pallets in. I got thinking, okay, back when I was young and foolish, now I'm just old. Okay, I didn't have fancy things, okay? So bringing the mini hoe in here to showing people how to do it. One, people don't have mini hoes. They usually have the regular hose, okay, on the side. Oh, I better not talk about that. All right, but this is what we're going to do. I've done this in the past with the small shop over there. So we stack the pallets up here, and then this gets the rad off because I think we're going to have to clean this rad out. So to get the rad off, we just jiggle and wiggle it onto the pallets here. So I brought the pallets in so they're nice and dry, because if the pallets are slippery when they're stacked because of the snow and ice, people in Florida and Australia won't understand that. Okay, if they're wet, they're slippery, all right? So we got to make sure it's safe. And we'll jiggle and wiggle this rad off, and then we can work on the Kijiji. But once we get the staff going with her little project at her house, then I can start working on Kijiji and enjoy the wood stove and stuff like that. Also, too, we'll try and do as much details as we can because this is a cat with issues.
Tuesday morning in WHO-ville, it's almost lunchtime. I had a great night with the little helper and his family. The supper was delicious. They had cabbage rolls, pierogies, anything you could think of. It was so good. It sucks I wasn't able to bring my dad a plate since I didn't have headlights on my Skidoo. I couldn't go over to the kingdom and drop some off, but that's okay. Now it's time to get ready, let the dogs out, make lunch. I'm not sure what we'll be doing this afternoon. I think I'm getting the little helper to come over again, and we'll be moving my wood stove from the kingdom to here. Just after 1 o'clock, and I'm getting ready to go pick up my little helper. Then we'll head on over to the kingdom and get the mini out and go grab some sand at the front gate for the wood stove. And then we also have to load up the wood stove and some other materials in the back of the toboggan, and then come on back into WHO-ville and drag it all into the house. Now let's get going. Just after 2 o'clock, I made it to the kingdom. My little helper is taking the toboggan down for my dad to fill up with sand here. I need lots of sand for my wood stove throughout the season, and I also need sand to go around the box that we cut out the other day. That way it doesn't burn my house down. The ground doesn't seem to be that frozen either. As you can see, it's pretty easy to get out of the hole. This is the same hole that we used in the summertime to fill in my dog pens when I moved in, and I've backfilled all that, so it was pretty easy to get down there. Try and get a little closer. Didn't take very long with the big bucket. Now my dad's going to hook onto it with the mini and drag it up the little hill here. That way I don't have to work the Skidoo too hard, because I do have to pull this back into WHO-ville to my place with the wood stove and a bunch of tools in there as well. Now we are back up into the kingdom. The dogs are barking behind me because my little helper, he's never been to the kingdom before, so all this stuff here is pretty fascinating to him. Now we're going to load up the wood stove here, and then all the pails. The pails will be for the sand that goes into the basement. We also have the tin for the hole, that way we can fill it up also. Now let's get going. Coffee time, and it's 3 o'clock. We just finished loading up the toboggan. It will be a slow trek back into WHO-ville, but that's okay. I do have my little helper in case anything falls off. He can jump off and grab it for me. Now let's head on back into WHO-ville and start working. We just finished up in the kingdom and made it back on into WHO-ville. Now it's time to drag all this stuff inside. Today we're just going to put the plates on and get all that sand filled up because we're all running out of daylight, so we have to get that done at least, and then we can worry about the rest of it later. Down in the basement now, I'm going to square off the hole, and then we can put the panel on the outside here. And once that's secure, we'll come inside and put the sheet on in here, and then we can start filling it up with sand. Almost 4:30, and we are now outside putting on this sheet. As you can see here, we are just cutting it to fit. This is just temporary as well. We'll figure out a better solution after. And then once we have this one fitted, we can put the plate on the inside and start filling up with sand. 5 p.m. and we are officially done. It's only temporary because we still have to pull back the top part here and put some more sand in, but this will do for now. As long as we have the sand here and all the materials, we can finish it later. I'm not going to silicone this pipe here either because we have to pull this back again, so I don't want to silicone it in and get it stuck. Now we'll head inside and empty out the trailer. 6 o'clock, and this is the temperature we're sitting at today. It's negative 11 degrees Celsius, which is 12 degrees Fahrenheit, and we even have the feels like on the bottom. Not sure if you guys could hear that in the background, but we have some fireworks going off over here. As soon as I started recording, they started, and when I went to pan over to look at them, they stopped, but that's okay. Now it's time to head inside, let the dogs back in, make supper, and end my day.
Okay, after coffee in the kingdom, and we got the list checked off, and the staff has everything. We loaded that toboggan up, but that's what it's made for. That's what Works could do. She's not out to cruising around raving at the boys. All right, so the Tits vodka is going pretty good here. All right, now we can begin working. Oh, yes, the promo bike. We can't forget the promo bike, the $42,000 in coffee table. Yes, what a joke that is. All right, so let's get working on the cat here, known as Kijiji. All right. Also, too, I don't know if we can see it, but I write on the cats because I get so confused. All right, so we know what their names are and what the year they came into the kingdom. Plus, we keep a running list on the back there. Also, too, at my age, I'm smart enough. I brought in the top stud battery, so when I go to start the cat, when I put it back together, probably in a couple of weeks, I'll know that I have to change the battery cable ends because the battery would not hook up. All right, so let's get this rad off. It's a little dark over here. We might have to get the disco lights out, but let's get this rad apart so the people around the world can see that I actually work. Okay, we got the grill off and the hood off, okay? Kijiji, we have not really done much to him. We just got him running. He hasn't even had a pressure wash or anything like that because that's all that southern farm dirt on him. But the thing is, he's never run long enough to do anything. We should be calling him the welfare cat. Okay, so up here is telltale signs that the rat is kind of plugged. Oh, hand and eye coordination. Oh, can we see that? If you can, say yes. All right, so let's take this rat apart and clean it out. That way we know for sure. And in 2023, we took the thermostat out. It was one of those ones that was opening and closing, not happy, okay? And also, too, I did check the inventory, and we do have a seal for down there on the crank, because if we take this all apart on the front just to see what the timing is on that, it'll be very important to have that seal. All right. Okay, so over here, people ask what we do. Oh, another thing. At my age, you put this piece of paper or the tag in so you know which bolts are for which. I gave up writing on the side of the recycled repurposed container because then it gets too confusing. All right, so what we did back in 2009, I think it was, I don't know if the light is good enough, but there's a 4-inch rubber mount light in there. Okay, can we see that? These are the lights we're buying from Sir Rodney. They're the Groti number right there. All right, so we're keeping these in here, okay, because they're kind of a yellowish light, but these things here, Kijiji and Freefall, are based on the winter freighting cats of the 40s and the 50s. So all we did was hang the light upside down. I don't know if you can see, but that's the bolt right there to, I would say, mount the rubber mount light inside of here. So that worked out pretty good. We're very pleased, and it does look good in the pictures when we do film and stuff like that. All right, so let's start taking this rad apart and see how bad the core is for being plugged, because that may be one of the issues and why it kind of bubbles out the top. I don't think it's a cracked head or a head gasket, because the bubbles aren't consistent. I've had lots of head problems, so I know what the bubble machine looks like inside the rad. Okay, when we get these cats, this is usually full of dirt down in here. We clean the dirt off and then we soak it down with oil. Yes, lots of oil. You can see the oil. So this cat arrived in 2011 is written on the fuel tank. So that means it's been soaking for how many years? Also too, we mark the pieces as we take it apart. But this is a perfect example of what's going on here. All right. These are 7/16 bolts, 5/8 wrench fits on there. Okay, demonstration to prove that that's 5/8. Oh, I think the light might be too bright. Okay, look at that, eh? All right, so 16 millimeters is the same as 5/8. A little bit of grippy. All right, so there, 15 fits nicely on. So when you're working on these old cats, make sure you have your metric wrenches, and then I used the paint marker. Yellow. Yeah, I chose the yellow one. Okay, so that bolt is no good, so I'll have to replace it. So I mark everything, so we're good to go. So I want to take this part right here, because it's easy to get these bolts out right here because it's flat. As you can see, some of these bolts are rusted away, so we'll be using the vice grips, maybe the welder, maybe the plasma cutter, but let's see if we can get it apart. Okay, I got very lucky. I was able to sit on the pallets and relax at my age. Okay, so down here, these bolts here are rounded out, so I ended up hammering on a 12 millimeter wrench because it's a 1/2 inch head. Okay, that's 13 millimeters in metric or whatever. These corner ones are the tough ones because they round out and they're hard to get the vice grips on. Okay, there was only one bolt in all these that I had the vice grip. And then up here, there's a hole. Oops. Hand and eye coordination. There's a hole up in here on the rat. That's for the shutters, okay? So this is part of the top piece that goes along the top, and that's the shutters. So they used extra long bolts, and it's great fun trying to get this out. Like you want to cry or get mad or beat it with a hammer, but I got lucky, and it all came apart. So I put some silicone up there back in the day because I didn't like the seal or the look of it, so it actually held this long. So that's another reason why I want to take this rat apart, clean it, prep it, and do it right. So therefore, I'll have years of service, in theory. No, this is Kijiji. Something else will break. Okay, due to safety reasons and everything like that, we just unbolted the gas tank. Yes, the gas tank on the diesel motor. See the injection pump? That's the gas tank for the gas side of the motor. All right, we didn't touch it. We have that non-vented cap and we tied it off because we are only like 3 feet from the wood stove. So tomorrow morning, when it's cold in here, cool in here, and the wood stove is not going, oh, that titty vodka tastes so good. All right, so in the morning, I'll disconnect this because I don't want any fumes or anything with the wood stove. Also, too, we took the shields off here. All right, and the reason why we took them off, because you can only get them off when you're in the shop and it's warm. You try taking these off outside and it's cold, it doesn't work. So we're going to use the plasma cutter to trim them up in the places and make it so they're easy removal and install for out in the wilderness. Yes, wilderness Alaska. So the rad is ready to come out. We've unbolted everything. All the bolts pertaining to the side and the front have been removed, and it was very good. So what I did over the years, oiling the bottom down here has worked out rather well. Okay, so in theory, the rad slides forward and lands on here, and then we can take the rest of the bolts out. But also too, I took the bolts out in here. I'll have to use the magic light. All right, so there's the bolts in there, and this rad slides inside here. That's IH's a very good idea by IH, so you can actually do it by yourself. And to get the bolts out, we're old school. All right, this 90-degree half-inch impact drive or whatever is common in the trucking industry for the spring bolts, the U-bolts on springs, right? Because the new style 90-degree air ratchets have no zoom. Yeah, they're the no zoom. Maybe they're the new style metric motors or 2-liter motors or something. They have no zoom. So when we did springs and truck repairs here back in the day, that thing was so handy because the impact will tighten the crap out of it, the U-bolts on the springs, and then you just have to use your torque wrench to get them correct. Yes, so we really like that. So that works out good for getting the bolts out down in here. All right, let's see if we can get this off. We're going to try to jiggle and wiggle it forward. We're not going to record it because there's going to be some 4-letter words, love. And I think I have enough strength in my upper body due to titty vodka. So let's get this done. Okay, that didn't take long. I struggled at first, and I remembered you have to drop the stump pan just a bit. So I just loosened off the bolts on the one side, dropped the bolts on this side because of the little dippy-do right here, okay? That's right there. Okay, so that was no big wow. So look at how clean this rad is. So that we can get those bolts out and get the top tank bolts out, and then we can lay this rad over. So it's a good thing I had my titty vodka because it gave me Hercules strength. But also too, it's not heavy when the pallets are stacked just right. And you have the plywood, it just kind of shimmies out, or you kind of walk it back, you know, sort of thing. And I don't know. That's the easiest way to explain it. You can just jiggle it out and it comes, all right? Okay, we got victory here and we're going to celebrate. Oh, I got just a Lily Tomlin mic there. Okay. All right. This is the first rad I've ever taken apart in my lifetime that we didn't break bolts. But then again, I'm getting smarter the older I get. I'm soaking everything down so for the day when I have to take it apart. None of the bottom bolts broke. They were rounded out, but I used the metric and we got it apart, okay? And same as the top here, it was tight, but we got it done. Ooh, a little too much light. Okay, one of the first things we do on these radiators, or these cats when we get them, this little plug here, right here. See that? That's just an 1/8-inch plug, okay? There's a tube. The overflow tube goes all the way down here and goes out the bottom there. That's the worst thing in the world for us up here in Wilderness, Alaska, but in Northern Manitoba. That little tube is half rotten, half beaten, and it leaks. Okay, so you're bouncing the cat through the wilderness, and next thing you know, the rad and everything's steaming. So we seal this up because we want it to bubble out the top or any overflow, because then it's not onto the motor because of the hood. This rad has, I don't know what you call it. It has that silt. Okay, see it's kind of plugged there. All right, so that's no problem. I took a long welding rod for oxyacetylene, and the tubes don't seem to be bad, but this is the bottom tank. That's why you have to take it apart. All right, see, it's kind of silt or something. All right, and it's all in the bottom here, so it's been stirred up. So that means I now have to clean out this rad and then go after the motor here, because the bottom of the liner's behind these little bolted plates right there. Okay, that's where the liners are. That'll have all that silt and stuff, but that's no problem. The wood stove's warm, we're having fun, we're enjoying, and we're learning. So I took this rad all apart with no oxyacetylene torches, no anything, just time and titty vodka. That's it. Just pursued away. So anybody that's got old cats and everything, say you can't work on them because, oh, we don't have a shop, we don't have tools, we don't have anything. No, get it done. Get out there working on it, buy some metric wrenches and hammer them on and take your time. That's all we've done. We don't have a lot of money to spend foolishly on these cats. I spend it foolishly on women. Okay, we're done for the day. It's just about 7 o'clock, and look at the full moon up there. That's going to be nice shining in my bedroom window tonight, so I can get up for numerous peas. So I don't have to turn the night light on to, how would you say, wake up the dogs. All right, let's scroll this way. Today was a successful day. We got all the pieces cut and ready for the staff. So she did her, how would you say, her hauled it all over to the kingdom, and we did to dig up some sand that wasn't frozen. I just put some wood in the stove, so that'll impress the Swedish kid. It was a successful day today with that titty vodka. I think that's going to be my new motto. Get some titty vodka and everything goes fine. And look at the flags. There's not a breeze. It's just a nice day. They're in their natural state of being limp. All right, let's go walk the dogs, drink some more titty vodka, and make a video. Talk to you later.